Hello and welcome back to Hyperplay. The first reviews are in for the mighty AYN Thor, and not to be outdone, our man in China has been in touch again. You can't keep a good man down. He's finally found a use for his degree in Hingenomics. Yes, he has done the best out of all the early reviewers in showcasing how easy it is to lift the lid of the AYN Thor compared to the beleaguered Flip 2. Now, there is a looseness, which has been commented on by other reviewers, to the AYN Thor that is not apparent on the Flip 2. You have to use two hands to open the Flip 2. Let's see it again in glorious slow motion. Well done, our man in China. Quite literally lifting the lid on the difference in stiffness between the AYN Thor and the Flip 2. The AYN Thor's relative looseness should result in less pressure and less torsion and tension on the plastics, hopefully make the mighty AYN Thor unbreakable, appropriately enough, at least when it comes to its hinge. Now, in fairness to Retroid and the Flip 2, the later models of the Flip 2 did have a more rounded hinge, and it seems that AYN has adopted that approach as well. Other reviewers have pointed out that you can't really know durability of the AYN Thor's hinge until you're about 5 months in, because that was when all the problems started to arise with the Flip 2 models. But so far, so good, and pleasing looseness to the AYN Thor. Not too loose, as you can see. Good old man in China giving it a wang around. Careful now. But sturdy enough, but with good looseness and travel to ensure that, we hope, the hinge won't break. What about those screens? Well, you know they're good. You know that that top panel, 6 inches of OLED, 1080p gloriousness is an absolute beaut. And you also know that the bottom panel is the 3.92-inch 4x3 OLED display already seen on the Retroid Pocket Classic and the AYN Neo DMG. Fantastic screens, the both of them, but again, our man in China comes up trumps and shows PWM flickering when the top screen is set to a brightness of 40% or lower. The other reviews haven't mentioned that yet. Well done, our man in China. Having said all that, fantastic screens, glorious colors, so glorious they'll be sure to make you shout. Yep, the color contrast hops beautifully. You can't go wrong with these panels. AYN have absolutely nailed it. And here comes our man in China, kindly showcasing the latest strain of coronavirus. Oh no, that's the pixel arrangement of the top screen. We're not entirely sure. It doesn't look particularly healthy to us. Oh, here comes another one from the bottom screen. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the speakers, which is our third category. And these are great speakers. By and large, some concerns that you will muffle the two speakers in the bottom left and right with your hands, but in general, the sound quality has been praised. Nothing amazing and doesn't get extremely loud, but good enough. On to the buttons, and this is actually something of a mixed bag. No shade or criticism on the D-pad or the face buttons or the sticks. They are all very good indeed. The triggers, however, are the main sticking point. Major criticisms leveled at the AYN Thor tend to focus from all the reviewers on the triggers. They are sharp. They don't feel great. They could be more rounded. They're not comfortable. Generally considered as bad as or even worse than the Flip 2s. Other reviewers have declared getting frustrated because they can't hold the device properly because of the triggers. Your mileage may vary, and we will get onto ergonomics and do a full debrief in due course when our man in China is ready, of course. Currently, he's too busy enjoying the software and emulation experience of the AYN Thor, which is very good with a few wrinkles. Early reviews have said that you'd be much better off using a fork of Azuha 3DS because of issues with the bottom screen. And we can show you the GitHub page. You need to go to now, navigate to here, and then pick up the latest build of this fork of Azuha. Word on the street, these improvements, only present in this fork at the moment, will be incorporated into the next release of the mainline Azuha build. Ergonomics, here we go. Suffice it to say, the AYN Thor is, of course, a clamshell, so compromises will have to be made in terms of portability, pocketability, and hand enjoyment, as it were. Looking here at the D-pad on the left, it looks like it might be tricky for the thumb to access that D-pad, but actually the reviewers have found it a pretty comfortable experience. There is a grip that you can buy for the device if you like. Input lag. This was a big concern of many gamers, especially those we were looking at the pre-release footage from AYN themselves. Often it's an emulator or a game issue rather than the console, and we can see that our man in China is finding that latency is about 10 milliseconds, very good indeed, on a par with other Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 devices like the Odin 2 range. So no problems with latency, and none of the other early reviewers have found it to be a problem either at first blush. Battery, 6,000 milliamp hour battery. They are very nice indeed. You'll get about 6 hours of solid 3DS gameplay at the highest settings on full brightness. And we need full brightness here because, our man in China is playing one of his scary games. So I need to get the dancing ladies out again. And I'm sure he will in due course. He does not want to be feeling an intense sense of dread like he did in the last video. Our man in China waxes lyrical about the smooth frame rates, as have all the other reviewers. They are very pleased indeed with how the games play. There's always going to be initial stuttering on 3DS titles, but that is the shaders loading, and that soon goes away. The 120Hz panel on the top is fantastic, as previously advised, and you can even set the bottom screen to 120Hz, although we wouldn't particularly advise it if you want the smoothest experience. And talking about smooth experiences, there were some concerns about the fan and the fan. There were some concerns about the placement of the fan. Oh, not again. The fan and the air intakes on the bottom of the device. And word on the street is that you are advised to keep your fan on at all times, at least on the lowest setting. It's very quiet. It doesn't blow on your hands, but it is important because near the fan vent is where the device can get hot if you do not enable said fan. So the fan is well placed. It needs to be on, but the device might get a little bit warm, but never too hot, even if you are playing it in tabletop mode. So very well designed overall, no concerns with the fan at all. Early benchmarking has suggested that even though the performance is on a par with other Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 devices, early benchmark scores show the AYN Thor coming in slightly lower than the Odin 2 consoles, and that might be because of a tiny bit of thermal throttling given the form factor, but absolutely nothing to be concerned about. Games play like a dream on the AYN Thor. What else can we tell you? Well, at the moment, HDMI out only shows the top screen, but that's the most important one. And all that horror gameplay got a bit drastic for our man in China, so he's had to bring back the dancing girls. Good vibrations for him because they've upgraded the vibration to HD vibration, and he's very delighted about it. Had us reaching for the pause button, but not for that reason. And finally, coming up to our 10th point, our man in China cannot keep him down. He has found a minor flaw in the charging process that when you close the lid and you charge the AYN Thor, you can't actually see any light on whatsoever. So you don't know if the device is charging or if indeed it has been fully charged, what sort of state the battery may be in. So you have to open up the device and check. Oh my goodness, put them away, please. Our man in China has one more thing to say about the dancing girls. Not the kind of video that will be appearing on our channel. What will be appearing on Hyperplay is many more fantastic emulation console reviews and tips and news. So stay tuned to us. Drop us a like, please, if you haven't already. That would be very gratefully received. Hype this video. I believe that's a new thing. You can slide across and hype if you want. And please do subscribe for much more from us very soon. Many thanks for watching. Take care and happy handheld gaming. And keep dancing. Bye-bye.